What's going on, y'all? It's your boy TJ back with another video. For today's video, I'll be talking about my thoughts on the Teofimo Lopez versus Sander Martin fight. Okay, and like I always say, y'all, without further ado, I'm just jump right into this one, y'all. Alright, so before I get into the Teofimo Lopez fight, first I want to talk about the undercard fights, okay? Because the undercard fights were pretty good in my opinion. Okay, had 3 undercard fights, and I felt that they were really good because it really got to put the young and upcoming fighters in the spotlight more. So I feel like it was really good to get them out there more, get their names out there more, and like I said, these guys are up and coming. And they're about to make some serious noise in the future, okay? And the first undercard fight that they had, which was one of my favorites, was Davis versus Burgos, okay? And Keyshawn Davis was, in my opinion, was absolutely outstanding in this fight. Okay, now I don't know if y'all seen any of my past videos. I actually put them in my top 5 under 25. Okay, and he really deserves to be in that top 5, and rightfully for anybody else's too, because he's making a lot of noise and he's making an impact very quickly. And during this fight, man, he kept his own pace very well, picked his spots very well, and he just absolutely put a brutal beating on this dude. Okay, I mean, I know after the fight, he ended up winning the fight, and he was saying that I wish I could have landed more power punches to slow him down. Unfortunately, he didn't get a chance to do that, but he still won the fight, and by a landslide too. I mean, the whole thing is what people really have to understand too. He was facing a veteran fighter who had 45 fights under his belt. Okay, this is his 7th professional fight that he's taken. Okay, which makes him now he's 7-0, and especially going into this fight, being the underdog, facing a veteran like Burgos. You know what I'm saying? He did a really great job. And Burgos just couldn't find a way to contain him at all during the fight. Davis was just too quick, too fast, and he just outsmarted him throughout the entire fight, the whole entire way. I mean, by the end of the fight, he scored 247 to 48. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous, man. I mean, I felt like Davis, he did an outstanding job, preparing himself for the fight, the way he handled himself with confidence throughout the entire 8 rounds, which was really good. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I know like he wanted to get that huge power punch in there to slow him down and find a way to knock him out. But like even he said, those veteran guys always find a way to fight through that and to be able to contain themselves to not be able to get knocked down so easily. You know what I'm saying? And Davis had enough respect for him, like, in that way. And I gotta hand it to him. You know what I'm saying? But not every fight is gonna end in a knockout. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll take the the unanimous decision any day as long as I get the dub. You know what I'm saying? But that's a great win for Keyshawn Davis moving forward in his career. Now he's 7-0, so congrats to him. Next fight that they had on the undercard was Zayas versus Salazar. Okay, now Salazar, he's another veteran fighter. Okay, and Zayas, he's a young guy as well too. Okay, a very, very young guy. He's only about 20 years old. Okay, and I gotta hand it to him too. He did an outstanding job as well. Okay, he really, picked his spots well. He, I would say towards the middle of the fight, both fighters, came out a little flat-footed. It seemed like they started to get a little winded, but towards the end is when they really started to just really let loose with their hands a little bit. You know what I'm saying? That's what I really like to see. But as the fight tends to drag on, it's a bit harder to really keep up that same pace and that same stamina. But Zay has really showed me something. He really did. He really proved something to me, man. At 20 years old, to be able to handle himself versus a veteran like that is absolutely outstanding as well. I mean, by the end of the fight, he outscored him 139 to 95. So I mean, that's an impressive job to me. You know what I'm saying? And he was landing a lot of good body shots early on. And Salazar, he did a good job with containing himself. But unfortunately, he couldn't get the job done. You know what I'm saying? And another thing I want to point out too is these young guys, man, coming up are a lot better than people think that they are. Okay, people have to realize this too. These guys have been preparing themselves like their whole entire career for moments like these. So through amateur, working their way up to probably starting off at a young age, 6, 7, even when they're in their early preteen stages. You know what I'm saying? By the time they get to this stage, they're a well-seasoned fighter. You know what I'm saying? And all that hard work, combined with their skill and talent, is sometimes just something that another fighter just can't match up against. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. The next fight that they had was Anderson versus Forrest. Okay. Now, I thought Jared Anderson did an outstanding job in this fight. Okay. I also had him in that same video that I had Keyshawn Davis in for the top 5 under 25. And like I said, y'all, this dude is something special. Okay, he really is. Jared Anderson dominated in this fight and very quickly. Now, don't get me wrong. Okay, he did get hit with some pretty big power punches earlier on in the fight. Okay, the fight only went 2 rounds though. So like in the first, a few minutes of the first round, he got hit with a couple of hooks pretty good, but he shook him off. Very quickly, and he was able to withstand his composure and, keep fighting. He fought through it, and he was able to get the W. You know what I'm saying? There was a few times where, he was able to go upstairs and, go to the body. He definitely was very, very good at, utilizing those body punches to slow him down a lot. And I think it was like late in the first round, they actually had to bring out the doctor to examine Forrest because, they didn't think he was going to be able to continue fighting the way, Anderson was just going at him like that. And he was able to continue for a little while on, okay? And, second round came around, and that's when it was all over. Once Anderson had backed him up in that corner, I was like, man, this fight's done, man. This fight's done. He's got him. And he absolutely took full advantage of that opportunity and just finished him off right there. And he won by TKO. He did it. I mean, people got to understand, man, this guy is only 23 years old, okay? And looking at, the heavyweight class, okay, you got, Tyson Fury, you got Alexander Usyk, Wilder. All these guys are in, like their late 30s. Okay, their late 30s. Now, I'm not saying, age is going to play a big factor in how people fight, because that's not the situation. But the point that I'm trying to make here is he's only 23 years old. And a lot of these guys, I'm telling you, man, they're gonna have their hands full trying to fight this man. Because for one, he's not even fully grown yet. Like, he hasn't even came into the full shell of his body yet. And he doesn't even really know how to utilize all of his power yet. So once he learns to tap into that, learns how to unlock that, it's a wrap for the rest of the heavyweight class moving forward in the future. And the future looks very bright for him, because it's only gonna go up for him now during his career, the rest of his career moving forward. Okay, like I can definitely see him sitting at the top of the heavyweight class in the next few years to come. Like, absolutely, hands down. And I feel like, like I said, he did a very great job in this fight, and he ended it very early. Now, when he goes back and he rewatches his fight, he's got a few mistakes to correct, but that's okay. Once he's able to learn from that, learn why he got hit, and he knows why he got hit, he's got to just protect himself a little bit better, and, slip those punches a little bit more, utilize his defense a little bit better, and he's going to be just fine. He's going to be perfectly fine. All right. And last but not least, the main event. Okay. Teofimo Lopez versus Sandor Martin. Okay. Now, I thought this was a pretty good fight, in my opinion. All right. I really did. Now, I'm not going to lie to y'all. Everybody was saying this was pretty much a bittersweet win for Teofimo Lopez, and I kind of agree. I kind of agree with that. I kind of do agree with this, because, when I really look back at it, he came out pretty good. Okay, now if you ask me, he came out a little too overly aggressive. All right, he came out a little bit overly aggressive, but that's all right. He was able to really slow Martin down just a little bit. Okay. Now, he did put together some pretty good combos in the beginning of the rounds. He was able to mix it up a little bit. He definitely utilized his jab pretty well. And I know during the beginning of the fight, he landed a really good straight shot right down the middle of Martin's face, and he almost broke his nose. And I didn't think that Martin was going to be able to continue, but he didn't let that bother him. He fought through that, and he put up a very good fight through the rest of the way. But the whole thing, looking at it, the rest of the fight, Martin started to really gain his momentum. Okay, like he started to catch Lopez with some pretty good solid punches to the head there. Okay, matter of fact, Lopez, he fell twice throughout the whole entire fight, like a good 2 or 3 times. You know what I'm saying? This is the reason why everybody was saying, it was a bittersweet win for him. And even Ryan Garcia had tweeted out, Lopez is really struggling, because he kind of did. Later on, down the fight, it seemed like Lopez was just struggling to find Martin. He came out, I'd say towards, about the 5th, 6th round, he came out a little sluggish. And he was struggling to find that momentum and a bit of that energy, and couldn't, withstand, that stamina. He couldn't couldn't get his stamina back. And, that seemed like a real issue for him continuing on throughout the fight. That's the reason why, he got knocked down for, a few times. You know what I'm saying? But he was down, but he wasn't out. That's the thing that I will give him that much. He was down, but he wasn't out. Okay? He was able to, withstand those punches and just continue on. But that's the thing that he has to work on a little bit moving forward as well. You know what I'm saying? And I'm glad he was able to come away with the win. It's a big win for him, regardless of what people are saying. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it is what it is. Both fighters came out very well prepared, and they put up a pretty good fight. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like at the end, that's when he started to really, both fighters actually started to really let loose on each other. You know what I'm saying? Like right towards those last 2 rounds, just got to give it all you got. Now it's now or never. You know what I'm saying? And Teofimo Lopez, he came out on top. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is, y'all. But y'all leave your thoughts, your comments down below. I want to know what y'all think about all these fights that happened. It was a pretty good fight. All the fights were really good in my opinion. So you know what I'm saying. But that's all I got for y'all today, and I will catch y'all next time. All right, peace.